Hello students and welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Shafali Nagpal, Associate Professor at Human Resource Development Center, Bhagat Phool Singh Mahila Vishwavidyalaya, Sonipat. We are studying the paper Development of the Management Thoughts, Principles and Types under Human Resource Management. Let us today study Organizing and Span of Management. After the completion of this module, you will be able to understand the concept of organizing and control, to evaluate the effectiveness of the monitoring system, to study about the organizing system and procedures. Let us begin with the introduction to the concept. When setting up another business, one should be careful while considering the organizational sound structure. It has to be chosen based on the organization's size, industry and other important points. One should consider the hierarchical structures as correspondence flow charts. Misguided hierarchical structures will bring about the lazy, wasteful communication in which the communication at different levels are required. All around, outlined hierarchical structures will create effective correspondence channels and empower quick, clean choices. How about if we investigate few of the most widely recognized types of hierarchical structure? But before that, let us understand the concept. Organizing is a function of management which follows planning. It is a function in which synchronization and combination of human, physical and financial resources takes place. All the three resources are important to get the desired results. Therefore, organizational function help in achievement of the results, which in fact is important for functioning of a concern. According to the Chester Bernard, organizing is a function by which the concern can define the role positions, the job related and the coordination between the authority and responsibility. Hence, a manager has to organize to get the results. Manager performs organizing functions with the help of the following steps. Let us discuss the steps one by one. First is identification of activities. All the activities which has to be performed in a concern has to be identified at the first step. For example, preparation of accounts, making of sales, record keeping, quality control, inventory control and many others. All these activities have to be grouped and classified into the units. Secondly, departmentally organizing the activities. In this step, managers tries to combine the groups which are similar and the related activities into a unit or departments. This organization of dividing the whole concern into independent units and department is called departmentation. Third is classifying the authority. Once the departments are made, the manager makes to classify the powers and its extent to the managers. This act of giving a rank to the managerial positions is called hierarchy. The top management is formulation of policies. The middle level management into department supervision and lower level management into supervision of supervisors. The classification of authority helps in bringing efficiency in running of the concern. This helps in achieving efficiency in running of a concern. This also helps in avoiding wastage of time, money, effort and in avoidance of duplication or overlapping of the efforts, and this helps in bringing smoothness in the concern's working. Fourth is coordination between the authority and responsibility. Relationships are established among the various groups to enable smooth interaction towards the achievement of the organizational goal. Each is made aware of his authority and he or she knows whom they have to take orders from and whom they are accountable to and whom they have to report. A clear organizational structure is drawn and all employees are made aware of it. Now let us understand the importance of organizing. Specialization. The organizational structure is a network of relationship in which the work is divided into units and departments. This division of work helps in bringing specialization in various activities of concern. Second is well-defined jobs. Organizational structure help in putting right men on right job, which can be done by selecting the people for various departments according to their qualifications, skills and experience. This help in defining the jobs properly, which clarifies the role of every person. Then it helps in clarifying the authorities. Organizational structure help in clarifying the role positions to every manager. This can be done by classifying the powers to every manager, and the way he has to exercise the power should be clarified, and that misuse of power should not take place. Well-defined jobs and responsibilities attached to each help in bringing the efficiency into the manager's working. This help in further increasing the productivity of the firm. Then, its importance can also be realized in coordination. Organization is a means of creating coordination among the different departments of the enterprise. It creates a clear-cut relationship among positions and ensures mutual cooperation among the individuals. Harmony of work is brought by higher-level managers exercising their authority over interconnected activities of a lower-level manager. Authority, responsibility, relationships can be fruitful only when there is a formal relationship between the two. For smooth running of an organization, the coordination between the authority and responsibility is essential. There should be the coordination between the different relationships. Clarity should be made for having an ultimate responsibility attached to every authority. There is a saying, authority without responsibility leads to ineffective behavior, and responsibility without authority makes person ineffective. Therefore, the coordination between the authority and responsibility is essential, which can be brought by the organizing. Efficient administration. The organization structure is helpful in defining the job positions. The role to be performed by the different managers are clarified. Specialization is achieved through the division of work. This all leads to efficient and effective administration. Growth and diversification. A company's growth are dependent on how efficiently and smoothly a concern works. Efficiency can be brought about by clarifying the role positions to the manager, coordinating between the authority and responsibility, and concentrating on specialization. In addition to this, the company can diversify if the potential grows. This is possible only when the organization structure is well defined. This is possible through the set of formal structure. The sense of security. The organizational structure clarifies the job positions. The roles assigned to every manager are clear. Coordination is possible. Therefore, clarity of powers between automatically in increasing the mental satisfaction and thereby a sense of security in a concern. This is very important job for job satisfaction. Scope for the new changes, where the roles and the activities to be performed are clear and every person get independence in his working. This provides enough space to the manager to develop his talents and flourish his knowledge. Managers get ready for taking independent decisions, which can be a road, a path to adoption of the new techniques of production. This scope for bringing the new changes into the running of an enterprise is possible only through the set of organizational structure. The process of organizing consists of the following steps. Any situation involving two or more persons working collectively requires organizing. The act of organizing involves integrating, balancing, and coordinating the activities of the people working together for seeking common goals. The process of organizing involves the following step. First, identification and enumeration of activities. At the first stage of organizing process, manager identify and determines those activities that are to be performed for achieving the common goals. For example, an organization producing and distributing washing machines has to perform large number of activities that may be related to production, distribution, finance, purchase, and personnel, etc. Second is division of activities. After determining and enumerating activities, these are to be divided and subdivided into small components known as job and tasks. Third, grouping up of activities. Once the activities have been broken into the small elements, these can be easily put up into the various groups by their relationship and similarities. For example, each job and task related to the production are to be grouped into the production group. The elements that are related to the marketing, finance and purchase are to be grouped up in the respective group. Assignment of the group of the activities is the next step. After putting the various activities into the several group, these are to be assigned or allotted to the various departments created for this purpose or the employees if the activities are limited. At the time of making of such assignment, it is ensured that the department has required competence and resources for performing that group of activities. The next step is granting fundamental rights. Assignment of a group of activities among the various departments is followed by giving them sufficient rights so that they can perform the assigned task and work satisfactorily. The rights are granted through the process of delegation. In this process, the higher level manager gives away some of the rights in the favor of the others who become his subordinate, and it continues to the last level of management. The sixth step is coordinating the functioning of the various departments. In the process of organizing, attempts are also made for conducting working of an individual with respective department, and finally to coordinate the functioning of the various departments towards the achievement of the common goals. Now students, let us see the need and importance of organizing. The organizing process creates a network of role and responsibilities and provide a framework within which each employee performs the activities that have been assigned to him. His role becomes more meaningful and he contributes effectively to achieving predetermined objectives. Therefore, organizing is regarded as a mechanism or the means to achieve the planned objective. Its importance can be underlined as first, framework to perform the management functions. The organizational structure provides the framework within which the various management functions can be performed by the manager more efficiently. It is only through the relationship of the superior and the subordinate, which is created by organizing the process, that the manager plan, directs and control activity of his subordinate. Second, facilitate coordination. Organizing process may also be used as a device for maintaining and achieving coordination. In organizing, the activities performed by an individual employee are related to the functioning of his department, and the functioning of the various departments is harmonized for seeking common goals. Third, lead to specialization. Organizing is based on the concept of division of work that ultimately lead to specialization. Through it, activities are divided, grouped up and assigned to the concerned department having requisite competence and resources, and the department develop as a specialized center for those activities. Fourth, it helps in achieving the efficiency. Organizing process aims at achieving higher efficiency because it helps in making the efficient utilization of both human as well as physical resources. Fifth, it also promotes the employee development. In a highly decentralized organization structure, each position is strengthened by delegating required authority. As a result of it, each manager makes decisions, solve problems, tackle the situation that ultimately leads to overall development of his personality. Sixth, it increases the clarity of authority and responsibility. Division of work and delegation of authorities among the employees through the process of organizing give them a precise idea of what they are expected to perform within what limits of authority they have to perform. It helps in boosting an employee morale and he feels comfortable in setting work. Seventh, it facilitates adaptation. Organizational structure also provide a useful means to cope with the changing of an environment. In the event of change, necessary modifications may be made in organizing the processes, organizational structure and organizational goals to bring them in conformity with the change. It may be done by maintaining the flexibility in the structure and making it adaptive to the changes. Span of control. The span of control simply refers to the number of employees that manager can supervise effectively in any given time without compromising his or her performance or that of the employee he or she manages. it is very important to understand span of control and organizational structure when describing an organization. Simply, a span of control refers to number of subordinates under the manager's direct control. As an example, a manager with 5 direct reports has a span of control of 5. Too many or too few direct reports is good, a way to view how efficient an organization is, as long as it is looked at the context of the company's organizational structure. Then, is there an optional number? What needs to be considered is the nature of the work that subordinates are performing and how much attention each requires. For example, a call center. The span of control can be number over 100, while executive function with high degree of collaboration and interaction could productively tolerate no more than 3 or 4. So, the nature of work being performed and how much attention it requires should govern the assignment of personnel to a manager and not some ideal industry goals. The concept of the span of control, as also known as management ratio, refers to the number of subordinates controlled directly by a supervisor. It is particularly important concept for small business owners to understand because small business often get into trouble when the founder ends up with too wide span of control. The span of scrutiny is a topic taught in the management school and is widely employed in large organizations like the military government agencies and educational institutions. Yet, few entrepreneurs know the term and are willing to admit any limit to the number of people they directly oversee. Explained by Mark Hendricks is an article for Entrepreneur magazine. When a small business owner span of controls become too large, it can limit the growth of his or her company. Even the best managers tend to lose their effectiveness when they spend all the time managing the people and their issues and are unable to focus on long-term plans and competitive positioning of the business as a whole. Now, let us discuss the expanding on the concept of span of control. The span of control means the number of the subordinates that can be managed efficiently and effectively by a supervisor or a superior in an organization. It suggests how the relations are designed between a superior and subordinate in an organization. The span of control is of two types. Narrow span of control means a single manager or supervisor looking few subordinates. This gives rise to tall organizational structure. The wide span of control is a single manager or supervisor looking large number of the subordinate. This gives rise to flat organizational structure. There is an inverse relationship between the span of control and the number of levels in the hierarchy in an organization. That is, narrower the span, greater is the number of levels in an organization. The narrow span of control is more expensive as compared to the wide span of control, as there is more number of superiors and therefore are greater communication problems between various levels of management. The wide span of control is best suited when the employees are not widely scattered geographically, as it is easy for the managers to be in touch with the subordinates and to supervise them. In the case of narrow span of control, there are comparatively more opportunities for the growth as the number of the levels are more. The more efficient and organized the supervisors are or the superiors are in performing their task, the better is to have a wide span of management. The less motivated and confident employees are, the better it is to have a narrow span of management so that the superiors can spend more time with them and supervise them well. The more standardized the nature of work, like if the same task can be performed using same type of inputs, better it is to have a wide span of management as more number of employees can be supervised by a single supervisor. There is more flexibility, prompt decision making, effective communication between the higher level and the lower level management, and improved customer interaction in the case of wide span of management. Technological advancement such as internet, emails, mobile phones, etc. make it easy for the superiors to widen their span of control as there is more effective communication. As we can see in the tall organizational structure and the flat organizational structure, the span of control, as you can see in this figure. Let us see the various attributes of the flat organizational structure, which is wide span of control. The various pros are: it encourages the assignment. Supervisors should better delegate to deal with the larger quantities of the subordinate and allow open doors for the subordinates to go up against the duties. Agile, it enhances the correspondence speed and quality. It reduces cost, give fewer levels and hence requiring the fewer supervisors. It also helps to keep the workforce work more efficiently by concentrating on strengthening self-governance and self-bearing. The adverse effects are: highly administrative workload accompanies high span of control. Role disarray more probable. There may develop doubt of administration. The attributes of a tall organizational structure or narrow span of control are: it has the following advantages. It makes quick correspondence between little groups. Groups are little and less demanding to control and oversee. There is a more prominent level of specialization and division of work, more and better open doors for workers' advancement. But there are also the limitations to this. Communication can take too long, hampering the basic leadership. Silos may create and avoid cross-utilitarian critical thinking. Employees may feel lost and weak. Now, arranging to optimize the manager's span of control is also very important. Setting up of the ideal traverse of control for the chief is a standout amongst the essential assignment in the organizational association. Finding the ideal traverse include adjusting the relative preferences and impediments of holding obligation regarding the choices and appointing their choices. When all is said is done, things about have demonstrated that bigger the association, the fewer the individuals should answer to the top individuals or the top management. Administrators ought to likewise have less immediate reports if those subordinates communicate with each other regularly. In this circumstance, the administrator ends up to organize both his or her association with the subordinates and subordinate association with each other. Some different element influencing the ideal traverse of control incorporate whether specialists perform assignments of a normal sort or to awesome assortment and intricacy, and whether the general business circumstance is steady or dynamic. The different circumstances in which a more extensive span of control may be conceivable incorporate when the chiefs delegate viably. There are staff collaborators to screen cooperation between the administrators and the subordinate. When the subordinate are able, all around prepared and ready to work freely, when the subordinate objectives are all around lined up with those of the different laborers and the association. There are points of interest and drawbacks to the various ranges of control. A thin span of control tends to give supervisors close control over the operations and encourage quick correspondence among the chiefs and workers. And then a restrictive span of control can likewise make a circumstance where chiefs are excessively required in their subordinates' work, which can decrease advancement and confidence among representatives. A wide traverse of control powers the administrator or the superior to grow clear objective and strategies, appoint assignment viably, and select and prepare workers precisely. Since representatives get less supervision, they tend to assume the greater liability and have higher confidence with a wide span of control. Then again, administrators with a wide span of control may wind up plainly overburdened with work, experience difficulty deciding, and lose control over their subordinates. With these components to consider, entrepreneurs may progress towards becoming overpowered with the assignment of finding the ideal span of control. Hendricks guaranteed that assigning the circumstances and settling on a choice ought not to be excessively troublesome. The general guidelines that an official ought to administer 3 to 6 individuals specifically held up genuinely well against the challenges from productivity specialists, group binding fanatics, innovation buffs, strengthening promoters, egoistics, and other resolved to expand the acknowledged span of control. This is what the Hendrick composed. He also said, on the off chance that figuring is excessively for you, simply investigate the measure of hours you are working at the point when a workday for the general population at the top is twice and what they are going after. A span of control is ask you. For entrepreneurs who feel that they have excessive number of the direct reports and need to lessen their span of control, the arrangement may include either procuring center superiors or supervisors to go up against a part of proprietor's duties, or revamping the revealing structures of organization. In either case, entrepreneurs must adjust their particular capacities and workload against the need to control the costs. Diminishing the business person's span of control may include the excessive of paying extra pay rates for new contracts or preparing existing workers to go up against supervisory obligations. In spite of the potential cost included, Hendrick contended that altering the range of control towards the ideal level can prompt huge upgrades for private ventures. He says, there is the genuine possibility that is focusing on a span of scrutiny could usher your business into another time of fast, maintained and beneficial development. He told this to the business people. He explained, you could even discover keeping your business less demanding and more fun. Let us now summarize what we have studied so far. The span of control simply refers to the number of employees that the manager can supervise effectively at a given time without compromising his or her performance or that of the employee he or she manages. It is very important to understand span of control and organizational structure when describing an organization. The organizing process creates a network of roles and relationships and provides a framework within which each employee performs the activities that have been assigned to them. Thus, understanding the span of control makes role of manager more meaningful in achieving the predetermined objectives. That is all for today. Thank you.